I am literally actually early, guys. It's 7:58 and I'm actually early. So I figured I would see who's here already and just have a discussion with you guys. Recently we have discussed we have celebrated oh my gosh, look. Wild Honey wrote, it's 7:58. I know, it's 7:58, guys. It's not 8 o'clock. I know I'm early. Hi. Hello, everybody. So I kind of wanted to have this discussion today or tonight, at least on the East Coast, it's tonight, about trusting your own journey and just how even my ideas and things that I have believed have evolved. And yes, I'm wearing my own merch in this video. It says it's that serious because it absolutely is that serious. And you guys, if you guys have not ordered from my merch line already, whether that's a mug, the Quality Queen approved mug, which is a crowd favorite, honestly, then you should get on that because you're missing out. Okay, so my eyeshadow is the Natasha Denona palette. She has like this sunset palette that is gorgeous. Like this, whatever this shade is over here, it works for me. I think it's called Bliss, but I don't exactly remember the name of the palette. So I will put that in the description box below at the end of this video. And I know that I'm going to get this question because maybe some people, as we progress in the live, because I'll be on here for like an hour. All right, Angie, I'll bring it for you. I'm going to bring it actually up when we leave. I'm going to, my best friend Angie is in here, guys. I'm going to, I literally lost my train of thought because I actually just saw that. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, actually, that's what I was going to say. I know I'm going to get a lot of questions asking me, is this live going to be saved? As you guys can see in the pinned comment, that I will be saving this live. I will be going live for an hour because that's usually how long they give you until it actually cuts off. So yes, because I've already gotten the question of will I keep this live? So I don't know if you guys can see my pinned comment or not, but I wrote about what it is that we're going to be discussing today. So, you know, it makes more sense to ask me questions that pertain to what it is that I had put for the title. I can't even speak. Please don't put the live on private. Okay, guys, the live is not going to be on private. The live, actually, the way lives usually work is if you choose to make it public, it automatically uploads to YouTube right after you're finished. So it does its own thing. So it's not going to be privated. It will be saved. It will be uploaded. Do not worry. So if it's 2 a.m. in the morning right now and you have work, you can go. Don't worry, you can watch it later. So don't worry, okay? So for those of you that are in here, hi guys, it's been a long time. And I don't know, I kind of was inspired to, especially considering a couple days ago, we celebrated International Women's Day. And I guess it just had me I was very reflective. I mean, I'm always pretty much reflective, but it just had me thinking about how my ideas have evolved and where I am at in my life and in my own journey. And also just what I posted a couple days ago talking about comparison being the thief of joy. So I think that a lot of the times, the reason why that quote is relevant to what I'm talking about is because in order to trust your own journey, you can't compare yourself to other people. And I know that that is way easier said than done because I mean, it's a natural thing. If you aspire to have something and you feel like every time you're on social media, you see this person and that person, with the things that you may want, of course, you're naturally going to compare and maybe be down on yourself, or maybe that could even lead to jealousy or envy or something like that. And the reason why I think this is so important and relevant is because as women, it's important for us to all support each other. There's a YouTuber named Adeline Moraline. I actually don't really know her name like that, but that's kind of what it sounds like. And she always, I guess her brand, I think, is like girls supporting girls. And I really like her content because it's very happy and fun, and she's in a completely different niche of YouTube than I am. But I just really love her message of girls supporting girls. And I always, if you know me personally, you know that I am definitely a girl's girl. And I'm all about, positivity and, truly transforming your life. And oh, Adeline Morin. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if it's Tasha or Taisha. I don't know, but thank you so much. Yes, her. So I want to know what you guys' thoughts are. I want to open up a discussion because I know that it's so, easy to hop on Instagram and see this person with this lifestyle that you may want. And it's difficult, especially when you feel like you're not exactly where you want to be. And I know even for myself, like, I'm definitely hard on myself. I kind of think a lot of people, for the most part, are very hard on themselves because you just feel like, why am I not there yet? You know what I mean? And, if it's any consolation to any of you, you really have to understand that your life is your life. Your journey is your journey. Okay, we have a question already. So 1025 says, what do you think about Kevin Samuels? So to be genuinely honest with you, I have not watched any video of his ever. I do know he's quite, controversial, so to speak, on social media because he had this interview with some lady saying, if you have, forgive me if I'm getting this wrong, like, X amount of kids and you are not really educated or something. I'm paraphrasing, please, because again, like I kind of saw this in passing on social media. I did not even actually watch it for no particular reason either. I just kind of didn't watch it. He was saying, like, how can you expect to get, someone that's so out of your league when you are bringing so much, so to speak, baggage to the table, but you want someone that's going to be, college educated, ripped abs, no kids, take all your kids, like all those things. So I don't really know enough about him to formulate an opinion on him genuinely. So, but I will say this, just, even corresponding to how I feel like my ideas have evolved, I started slowly implementing the message of you can be independent, but still want a guy that is a provider. It's not, one isn't, mutually exclusive. One does not preclude the other. It's very attainable. That's kind of like saying, if you don't have kids, you'll never find someone that, loves you. That's also not true either. But of course, stereotypically, if you're going to, if you're someone that has maybe a lot of baggage, and I wouldn't consider, children, I'm not saying that children are baggage. What I'm saying is, maybe you want someone that has seemingly all of these things that you don't have in any capacity. You are way far off from, the things that you desire. The reason why I think this is important to talk about is because we live in a society these days, and I want you guys to hear me carefully, where it's no longer the norm for you to be stereotypically the waitress and you go and marry off the millionaire. And if those things, because those things like that will always happen, those people, they get bored, right? After a while, we are creatures of habit. We're human beings. After a while, you get used to having the money. You get used to, the lifestyle that you have. But what about your purpose? Because everyone has a purpose, whether you are able to identify it now or not. Everybody has a purpose. So if you find yourself, you're going to find yourself in that situation, bored, engaging in senseless activities, maybe Facebook groups of a bunch of miserable people who complain about whose bag they think is real and judging other people's relationships and things like that. You start to engage, anyone in life, you start to engage in senseless activities and behaviors whenever you're bored. And that's usually a life filled with ignoring your purpose or lack of finding your purpose. That's usually where those activities stem from. Because you know what they say, great minds discuss ideas and small minds discuss, people. Or great minds discuss things, small minds discuss people. And that's true. think about the person that you know the most that, and of course every girl, like, you talk to your girlfriends and you guys gossip, and all those things like that. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, what do you do in a situation where you're constantly engaged? You're miserable. All you do is you're online. Girl, did you see what Katie was wearing? I mean, like, her bag isn't even real. Like, why is? And it's like, here and there, okay, maybe that's funny. You know what I mean? We all make jokes here and there. But when we know you as the gossip queen, and you're not getting paid for this because, I mean, I don't know. You don't work for TMZ. You don't work for the tabloids. So, like, make that make sense. Then we have a problem, and it's not in Houston. It's here. It's here. It's here. Like, you have to get it together. So that's why maybe if this is his message, which again, I'm not sure, if that's his message of saying, basically, if I'm, I guess, summarizing it, you cannot be so incongruous and have all these aspirations to be with someone that is so out of your league, I guess. And I'm not talking about physicality even. I just mean like life arenas, things that someone can be out of your league in terms of life arena. And guess what happens when you're in a situation where someone is not in the same life arena as you? They leverage themselves eventually, because guess what? If they feed you, they can starve you. So as my message has evolved, as I have evolved on my channel, this is something that I think is important that I want to discuss more, that no longer, like, women, we have to make our own money. It gives us a sense of power, okay? And I say this in a very healthy way. It gives us a sense of power, and it allows us to choose, like we should anyway. It allows us to choose who it is that we want, because we're no longer coming from a place of need and desperation, meaning, because we've all been there, right? No judgment, where it's like, oh my gosh, I want to be with this guy because he's so successful. There's nothing wrong with that. Why can't you want someone successful and be successful? Why not? So you can't be, I don't think it's healthy. So I don't want to say you can't, but I will say this. I don't think it's healthy to be with someone that has such an incongruous, their lifestyle is very incongruous to yours, because they will leverage themselves over you eventually. There's always going to be some sort of weird power dynamic. If you enter in to a dynamic where your lifestyles are already incongruous in a romantic partnership. Let me see. Oh my God, guys, my editor's in here, Jordan. Oh my gosh. Hi, Jordan. Let me see if you guys have any questions so far. Okay, yeah, so Angie already asked. Okay, yeah, that was a very vague question. How do you make moves to evolve? I feel stuck. Firstly, I think that's a great question. I think we've all experienced, I feel like I even just recently just got out of like the unstuck sort of thing, I guess, feeling or cloud. All I do is I focus on one thing, right? For me, it was just like working out. And that was the one thing I felt like I could control, about myself. And it was like a go-to for me. And it was also something, and it is something that is also positive. So it's helping me like get those endorphins going. And I know that maybe I feel not the best, but at least I'm doing something to contribute to my happiness. Now, the reason why this is so important is because everyone has a vice, and you can either choose overeating, which I sometimes tend to do too, or you could choose alcohol, you could choose, sex, you could choose chaotic type of dynamics where you're like going back and involving yourself with exes and starting that again because you're just like, let me just like give it another chance. And sometimes our mindset is just so clouded in the moment that we don't even realize that we're like tapping back into things that like we should be leaving alone. You understand what I'm saying? So I think it boils down to implementing healthy activities, things to kind of get your mind off of whatever your current situation is. I genuinely believe nature is the best healer. If you go outside and walk, just go outside and walk and do nothing. You listen to a podcast, listen to a meditation, something calming, maybe listening to rap, while you're in the woods, maybe that's your thing. I mean, I'm not judging you, but to me, nature is about being serene and peaceful. And like, you realize when you look out at life, when you look at the sky, when you look at a body of water, you realize like, wow, I'm just this little thing on earth. And it kind of puts things into perspective for you for a bit, because it's like, maybe life really isn't all that bad. Maybe my situation isn't ideal, but life is so much bigger than this, than me. You understand what I'm saying? I hope that answers your question. I was involved in a narcissist in 2019. He was with my friend and denied me. Sometimes I really want to go out and talk about the abuse, but I'm okay, wow. I am still single. Any advice? Okay. He was with my friend. Hold on, let me reread that. I was involved with a narcissist in 2019, and he was with my friend. Wait, was he with your friend before you or after you? I'm confused. So you and your friend dated the same guy, and he was abusive to you, and you feel like you want to talk about the abuse. Number one thing I could say, you guys know I'm a huge advocate of mental health. Number one thing, you need to speak to a therapist. My advice isn't clinical. Certain things are outside of my bounds. As it pertains to trauma, like dealing with narcissists and childhood trauma and things like that, that is officially out of my jurisdiction as it pertains to unpacking those things. Why? Because I can discuss them, and I have plenty of times on a surface level. But when it comes to discussing that and unpacking that, it's best to do that with, a professional opinion. And I have, my BetterHelp link is in like every video of mine pretty much. And that's what I use for therapy. And I think it's an amazing place to get therapy from. Again, like, I'm not trying to make this an ad, but whatever you want to do, you don't even have to do that. It's best to speak to a therapist. That's what I think is best in terms of wanting to talk about that. Let me see. How to get over a guy who broke up with you, become financially stable. He's 21, I'm 24. I feel silly being sad about it, but we got along great. Should I be glad he left? BS excuse, thoughts? Oh, to become financially stable. Okay, yeah, you know what? You ever heard that saying where it's like, when you don't want to talk to someone anymore on the phone, you kind of make up any excuse. Like, you know what? Give me a second. I'm going to call you back. I got to close the fridge. Yeah, I got to close the fridge. I'm going to call you back. All right, click. It's like you just come up with I've been in situations like that too, where it's like, what? Like people either come out of the woodworks where they're like demonizing your character and like creating this false narrative of you just to make themselves feel better. And then it draws you to them more because you're like, I am not what you're saying and thinking. Why are you trying to go along with, okay, but sure. This is the thing also about being an empowered woman and evolving as a woman. You have to become comfortable with letting people do whatever they want to do and be okay with also being misunderstood. And that this is something that I have learned. Why? Because I'm such a nice person. And sometimes, yes, niceness does get mistaken for weakness. Kindness gets mistaken for weakness. It's not going to stop me from being nice. However, we have to understand that certain people are determined to misunderstand us. Certain people just don't want to, come to a compromise. They don't want to discuss anything. And I'm not saying don't feel sad about the situation ending, but he just told you he broke up with you to become more financially stable. People can do whatever they want to do. That's not that. And were you draining his pockets? Like, was he buying you things that were just so expensive? It was just totally out of his price range. And you know what? If anything, now that I'm thinking about it, even if that was an excuse, maybe that's like fine. He did the right thing. Because at the end of the day, it's like this. Don't date if you can't afford to date. Because that's a whole other story, right? There's nothing worse than a guy like being so low effort, like the guy that was in my storytime video, Brandon. He was just so low effort. Like, well, I told you I was like saving for a house. Then don't talk to me. Don't date me. I don't know you. I don't have any relationship with you that I would even come from an empathetic place to be like, okay, babe, like I'm going to go half on this because I'm not. Sorry, but not. I'm not. I don't know you. So everything you do, it's translating to me as minimal effort. So don't get involved if you can't handle it. Like, you know what I mean? Speaking of, guys, before I go and answer more questions, I was actually, when I was getting my nails done, right? I have the best nail lady ever. She was telling me this story that she has a friend. And he basically called her and was saying that, you know, he's unsure about his girlfriend. He's in his 20s. His girlfriend's in her 30s. She's ready to have a baby in the next couple of years. And she said it. They've only been dating for like 7 months. He all of a sudden says he's not sure what he wants because he thinks that he expected her. Like, he just wants someone that he could build with, not someone that, like, he feels like is going to be, like, taking from him. And all I'm thinking is, not so fast, my guy. I think he was banking on her being more established because she's older than he is. And I'm sure in dating in those 7 months, she has expressed that she wants children. Now he's trying to break up with her for what he already knew in the beginning. And blaming it on he wants someone to build with and not necessarily. Goodbye. Because people will just say anything. When people want out, give them an out. You know, I was watching a video by Shallon Lester, and she said, if it's fragile, let it break. That's like the greatest quote ever. She should put that on like merch or something. If it's fragile, let it break. I couldn't agree more. If you have to worry about, if you're like walking on eggshells because like you don't know if this guy's gonna leave you or not, I'm not walking on eggshells for anybody, baby. Bye-bye. It's not a thing. And of course, this comes with age, because the older that you become, you just don't really care about who really likes you or not, because it takes too much energy to pretend to be anything other than, you know, what you're not. Okay, let's get to these questions. Okay, let's see. Should I reach out to him after weeks of no contact? No. There's a book also called The No Contact Rule. Once you turn around and you flip the tables and you start, because that's chasing him. Hey, and we've all been there. I don't want you to think I'm saying this and that I think it's super easy, because I know I can come across that way. Self-awareness moment. What I'm saying is you have to force yourself. Utilize your friends, like one of my best friends, Angie. She's my voice of reason. I call her, Angie, this is what I really want to do. Angie talks me out of it. Okay? That's when you utilize your friend group and get out what you need to say. And if you have great friends, you know, I have really great friends. They will be a listening ear, and they'll, you know, help talk through things. So it feels good. Like you got out what you wanted to get out, but just not to the person who's literally going to care less. Because think about it. If he left, and this is the hardest thing to accept, if somebody leaves, if a guy leaves us, the biggest, or ghosts us, of course we want closure. Of course we want to know why, and we're upset, and we feel like we deserve more. We do. But at the end of the day, it's like, if somebody really doesn't think you are deserving of an explanation, then it's like, what can you do? And then think about it. What explanation is going to make you feel good? And when someone is just simply saying that they don't want to be with you, there's nothing that you could do about somebody that doesn't want to be with you. Literally nothing. And think about how that feels. Like, it's like, why would I want to be with someone that literally clearly is telling me that they don't choose me? And if you think about it on a spiritual level, and you're a spiritual person, God, if you believe in God or the universe, is literally having these things happen to you. He's not allowing these people. And I know this sounds so cliche, but I believe this. He's not allowing these people to tap into your value and appreciate you because he's setting you up for the right person. I genuinely believe that. Every experience and things that we endure and things that we go through are just lessons or blessings, no matter the duration of it. No matter the duration of it. And it gets easier as life goes on. Let's see. Okay, Angie says, okay, let me read it, Angie. Hold on. Naya is a young woman and wants to get advice about men. Should she date now or wait later? Well, how old is she? How old are you, Naya? How old are you? Okay, Sade Lorraine. Aisha, how to deal with being so used to having parents control your life and wanting to be independent. Angie, are you listening to this right now? I feel so stuck and suffocated. Hello, Sade. I very much understand where it is that you're coming from. Okay. I kind of feel like a little bit growing up, I was super sheltered. My parents, they're great. They just, they have tendencies where especially growing up, they were very overprotective. And of course, I went through the same thing of feeling very suffocated. Luckily for me, I do have a brother who is different than me in a lot of ways. And he was kind of the person that I kind of followed behind. Like, okay, if my brother, like, I had him kind of I don't know, I guess leading the way of kind of giving me that mentality or introducing the mentality of, okay, I need to have boundaries and it took a long, long, long time. I'm 26 now. My brother and I are only a year and 3 months apart. It took me a long time to get to this mentality of, okay, I need to have boundaries. Okay. My parents, the way I was raised, it was to, if they say something, you just do it. And I've learned as I've gotten older, okay, if I genuinely don't have time to do it, it's not going to get done. And that's not a disrespect. That's respecting myself. And me respecting myself shouldn't be a disrespect to you because that's toxic. You understand? My parents have better adapted now because at first when I was like introducing, being more independent and more, free thinking on my own, it was definitely shell shock to my parents. They were like, who are you? Like, what are you doing? But I have learned that I would rather not be a martyr and do all because guess what? That translates into all of your other relationships. Where you become a martyr. You're always sacrificing your feelings because you're used to doing it at home. You're actually going to find yourself in situations with guys, I guarantee you, because it's happened to me too, where you feel suffocated. So you're searching for independence and you're probably dating people or you like people that are successful because that's a sense of freedom for you. But then those people tend to be very controlling and suffocating. And then it's like, did I just like redo my whole trauma there? And you have to be very self-aware to know that that's exactly what's going on. But my best suggestion is to you, start engaging in different activities. Try to be home less. I know now it's a little difficult. In New York, things have opened up now. So what I used to do when everything was normal, no mask, pre-pandemic. Am I allowed to say that? Oh my God. I don't even think I'm allowed to say that word on YouTube. Whatever. P word. Weird. I would go to cafes and I would always be out. Like, I don't know if you have a car or whatever the case is, or if you have a friend that understands your situation that you can have as an escape. You understand? So whether that's going to the cafe or going to the library, I love bookstores. I love Barnes and Noble. I can literally be there. And I've been there from like 11 a.m. to literally closing. Full day shift. I've been there, I'll edit there. I'll, get some reading done. I love the environment. I love, and just being outside. Like I always make it a point to just go outside and go for a drive sometimes. So if you have that accessibility to, engage in an activity, if one of your friends has a gym membership, try and schedule, workouts with that person so that you can get your mind off of things. Do things that are endorphin, endorphin raising. I I think that's the correct term. And yeah, that's exercise. That's, hanging out with your friends. That's, just going outside in nature on your own. That I listen to meditation every single day of my life. There is not one day that I do not listen to meditation. Angie will literally tell you, like when we literally had a sleepover, I think it was like in like February, I literally was like, I listen to this sound when I go to sleep, like every single day. And she was like fine with it. So I listen to meditation every single day of my entire life. And you just have to be very mentally strong until you're able to fix your, change your situation, and just always have that place of like peace, always have that friend to talk to, because that's my best advice. These are things that I've actually done. Okay. I always end up getting played by men and tend to attract broken men. What advice would you give me? Please help me. So I'm going to be honest with you, angels. The farther that you are in your life from being more established, or at least more emotionally sound, you're going to kiss a lot of frogs, put it like that. And you're going to attract a lot of people that are, attracted to those type of things. Like me, I consider myself to be a very healing type of person and a very thoughtful person. And it's not always necessarily a reflection of you in a negative way. Sometimes situations happen. Sometimes people just suck. And that's really the reality at the end of the day. Why? Because everybody likes nice things. Who doesn't want to, who doesn't like Louis Vuitton? Who doesn't like Gucci? Who doesn't like anything luxury and designer? For comparison's sake, right? So if you consider yourself to be a great person, whatever the case is, it's like, of course, there are going to be a lot of people that are going to be attracted to you. But if you find that there's a pattern, like you said, where you're attracting a lot of broken men, are you broken? Are you a fixer that you like to fix people because you're hoping that you can fix yourself? You know what they say? A lot of kids, it's me, that are, into psychology and things like that, usually it stems from people that feel like they weren't understood at home. So they go out of their way. I go out of my way to always make sure that I understand people and where they're coming from. Do you understand? Like, it all stems from somewhere. And I can genuinely say that I have been attracting way more better quality people as I have evolved in my life. When I was 23 and I was super lost, like really, really lost, wouldn't go back to that age for anything. You couldn't pay me. What is this hair? I attracted the most toxic dynamic I've ever been in my entire existence. And I realized that you're never going to attract someone super healthy not being in a healthy place. You know what I mean? You're just not. Bosses like bosses, like strong-minded women usually like strong-minded women. Why? Because it's not intimidating, and it shouldn't be intimidating. So guys that, are super broken, a lot of the times the situations that we're in are a mirror of things that we need to work on in ourselves. So actually think about it. If you're not in a place that you're genuinely happy, then why would you all of a sudden just get shipped off and sailed off into the sunset? And I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm genuinely asking you, like, why would you all of a sudden get that ideal relationship out of nowhere? And then it's like, okay, then your focus shifts. Your focus becomes this relationship. Your focus is no longer on your goals, whatever they may be. What if you want to go to nursing school? You want to be a lawyer? What about those aspirations? They're going to take a back seat if you were to get Mr. Right now. If you could share your thoughts on remothering yourself when it comes to loving yourself and getting in tune with feminine energy. My mom wasn't feminine and wasn't about women empowerment. So I love this question. So firstly, oh my God, I think the feed just literally, I wanted to look at the question again. I like to look at it as I'm answering it. Oh no, I think I lost it. Oh my God. I lost it. It's okay. And Derek, I'm going to get to you in a second. Oh, wow. No, you don't even have a question, actually. Wow. Thank you so much, Derek. I really appreciate it. So, to answer the other question that I literally cannot even find anymore, the best thing about life is that when it comes to reparenting yourself, I haven't done too much research on this, but I do find it to be immensely powerful. Because I think inevitably in your healing journey and unpacking childhood trauma and things like that, it's inevitable that you do not want to contribute to the things that you may not have liked that your parents did for you. And they were only acting in ways that maybe they thought were genuinely best. I always say everyone is doing the best that they can according to their level of consciousness, even if that goes against all the things that we believe to be right for ourselves. Our parents, they birthed us. They are never going to, they're always going to insist that they know what's best for us. And sometimes maybe they don't. But this is what we have to understand. Our parents, at the end of the day, are literally human beings. I'm scrolling as I'm talking, guys. They're literally human beings. As it pertains to remothering yourself, the best thing, I have the question right here now. The best thing that you can do for yourself is start to teach yourself these things. Listen, there are free resources on the internet. My channel. Hi. Free. Okay, all jokes aside, there are a million books that you can read. I literally have a book recommendations video on my channel that I posted like last year or even like a year and a half ago. There are a ton of free resources that are accessible to us to help us change our mindset. No longer do we have it, the ability to fall back on all the time what we didn't really know. It's not like this is about taxes and like how to pay bills. As it pertains to just being more feminine and things like that, find someone that you look up to, okay? And start to tailor that person's, the attributes that you like about that person and tailor it to yourself. And if you like the way someone, dresses, then, emulate that style. There's nothing wrong with that. If you like the way that someone speaks, then you can tailor that to, your own life. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And the reason why I use the word tailor is because I'm not saying copy. You know what I mean? And at first, when we all really like someone, we're going to tend to want to like copy and be just like them because it comes out of flattery. But there's also a difference, and there's a thin line between, okay, you have to like not use this as a crutch anymore. You have to find your own way now. You know what I mean? Like someone can hold your hand, but eventually you need to learn how to, fish on your own. You need to learn how to, it should kind of be a little bit of a crutch to get you from point A to point B, if I'm making sense. So I think that when it comes to loving yourself and staying in tune with feminine energy, watch a million YouTube videos. Okay, guys, let me tell you something. One of the people that I love the most, and Angie knows this, is Marilyn Monroe. I literally looked up her chart and we are pretty similar. We have our differences, of course, but like it says that we would get along really, really well. I know now she would probably be like in her 80s or 90s now, but I love her so much. And Marilyn Monroe is so feminine, and just I love the way she speaks and the way she, just the way she carries herself and things like that. And I find her to be, I think for me, I see a lot of myself in certain ways and in her mannerisms, like in me, but I don't outright act like Marilyn Monroe. Like I don't wake up every day like trying to talk like her or anything like that. I just notice that there are certain ways about myself, that people have complimented me on, like, oh, like, I like your charisma, or I think you're very funny. And like, I know that I guess can be very engaging and things like that. And that's something that she embodied as well, in addition to being very feminine and very like sexy, but also still innocent. And that's how I view myself too. So I really, really like that about her. And I kind of study her. My top suggestion would be to study like old Hollywood type of people and find someone that you really like. Like I know another one of my friends loves Zsa Dubar, whatever her name is. She has like a million sisters or something. Like, I don't know, but I hope that answers your question. Okay, let's see. I am so behind in questions. Oh my goodness. Okay. Honey, no, I already answered that. How to stop feeling like you have to compete with people you know. Oh, you weren't here in the beginning. That's totally fine. So again, this is a great question. Thank you. Because this actually aligns with what we're talking about today, where you have to trust your own journey. I know it is so hard to, keep your eye on the prize when you feel like people are winning the prize that you want all around you. I completely get that. I think that when you start to come from a place of gratitude, in the sense of, and you kind of have this energy. This is the way I am. Whenever my friends have celebrations, I celebrate with them and kind of manifest that energy as though it is happening for me. I think about this. I am so blessed to see my friend, buy this car, buy this house, buy this apartment, because I know that it's going to happen for me. There's nothing good that comes from side-eyeing someone and I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but there's nothing good that comes from jealousy and envy, because at the end of the day, I think the best way to view people that have more than you is to have this aspirational energy of, wow, I am clapping for you because I know I would want it to be done for me. And at the end of the day, everyone's life is their life. I don't care how fast, what age, how young someone has gotten something, whatever the case is, it's circumstantial. Your journey is your journey. There's a reason why every single thing that you wanted, that you want to happen for you right now, there are more things to learn. There's more work to be done, and it's your journey. And this is something I'm learning. You know what I mean? And just trusting that everything is going to work out. And I know it's hard when you feel like why everyone around me is doing X, X, and X, and I feel like I'm behind. I feel like, I'm putting in the work, and I feel like I'm not seeing any results. And when you kind of get trapped in that mentality, comparison is the thief of joy. There's always going to be someone that you may deem as prettier, thinner, curvier, bigger butt, bigger boobs, better life, relationship, always. So it's like, what's the point of constantly looking around and tapping into that negative energy? That's not going to manifest you out of your situation. It's not going to give you a better job, better life, better circumstance, nothing. It's not going to make you slimmer, fitter, nothing. It's not going to do any of that. So what can you control? One, always, because I'm a girl's girl, always celebrate. If you are coming from a genuine place, don't force yourself, because that's also senseless. Always celebrate your friend's success and manifest that as your own. Like, wow, I'm so grateful I get to see this because this is my friend and I know this is in view for me. Why? Because your friends are your mirrors. If a lot of your friends are doing great things, that's amazing. That means you're on the track to doing great things too, right? When you look at it from that perspective. So I think that in order to stop yourself from constantly competing with people is to start being grateful for what it is that you have, because we can all compare a million different times. And I know sometimes it's hard when they say count your blessings, and you feel like what blessings? But there's always something to be grateful for. Literally, I'm not even kidding you. There's always something to be grateful for. And when you're coming from a place of desperation, you're going to be impulsive, you're going to be negative, you're going to exude that energy, and people will see it, right? People are going to see that you're not genuinely happy for them. And when it's your time to shine, and when you turn around and no one's clapping for you, you don't want to be that type of person, right? And then all this energy you're wasting, and again, not saying you specifically, but all the energy that you're wasting, you could be investing your time in actually doing what it is that you want to do to get to that level. You're sitting here hating. It's senseless, Okay, let's see. How to deal with men that tell me what to do and who to be. You got to dump them. Those are people that are trying to control you. You are your own person. You need to have boundaries. Listen, I'm not going to entertain this anymore. I'm responding to this with silence. So until you respect who I am as an individual, then there's no need to be speaking. So how do you deal with men like that? You simply have to stop, and you have to have boundaries, because relationships are a choice. We are not stuck, especially when you're not married to someone. You're not stuck. You're choosing. Even if We don't think we are, and we want to stay stuck in it. It's a choice. And when we think about it from that perspective, it puts a lot of things into perspective for us. When we think about relationships as a choice, it is. Relationships, situationships, dating, choices. Choices. So you eliminate them because if it's not benefiting you mentally, it's making you unhinged, all these different things. It's making you insecure. You feel controlled. Why stay in it? Doesn't make sense, you know? Okay. Okay, I already read that one. Let me see. Yeah, so back to what I was saying to Naya. Yeah, that is true. You do feel like you are an emotional healer. And yeah, it's like I was talking to one of my friends about this like a couple weeks ago. I said to her, I was like, listen, I was the same, where it's like, I remember when I met that really toxic guy when I was 23. I easily picked up on the fact that like he was very jaded. I thought my purity and my innocence, at heart could show him that not everyone is this way. It didn't work. Instead, I got hurt trying to heal someone that had zero intention of ever actually healing themselves. Because you can, talk till your face turns blue, but if someone's not going to be receptive to what it is that you're saying, you're beating a dead horse. And why are we doing this? Because it goes back to what I said in the beginning, where when we are in dynamics, we come from dynamics where, girl, it's getting hot. This light, she's sweating. I'm definitely sweating. Where you want to be understood, you don't want people to give up on you. So that's why you have so much, you have such a high threshold for things like that, because you know that you would want that same treatment in return. Let me see. Okay, yeah, I answered Sade's question, I'm pretty sure. How to deal with, yes, okay, I answered that. I'm like so behind in this, guys. I'm so sorry. How to tell a man about his ego without offending him. Well, if his ego is that high, to be honest, he's going to be offended regardless of what you say, I need more context in terms of what do you mean exactly? Like what's an example of his ego being too, high? Because then I can come up with a more specific response for that, because that's so general. The one guy in my apartment was going to ask me for my number. We started talking. I didn't sleep with him. He tried sleeping with me and ended up ghosting me because the only thing he wanted from you was to sleep with you. So clearly, let the trash took out itself, My parents insult me saying I lack independence, but she defines that differently and won't let me gain my own way. Should I pursue what I want despite her making my life? Oh my goodness. Give me a second, guys, because I'm probably pretty sure that Angie has texted. She did. I answered. Okay. Sorry about that. Should I pursue what I want despite her making my life hell? Yes, you should. I'm not one to say like, go against your parents, go against the grain, rebel, like be a rebel. But at the end of the day, if you genuinely do not have a passion, that's like, what are you going to do? If your parents want you to go to school to be a doctor, what are you going to do? Force yourself to go to med school? You know how many people I know that went to school for this and that and ended up dropping out because it was what they thought their parents wanted, or it was genuinely what their parents wanted. It's not what you want. You owe it to yourself to follow your passions. And it will, yes, anything worth having is going to be a fight. Believe me when I tell you, I can relate to that. And in the end, it's almost like worth the hell. Because, and I get it, it's like, why am I being met by so much adversity for something that I feel so called to do? Why is this happening to me? And that's a very fair question. But that's just sometimes that's just how life is. And there's no way, I strongly believe this, there's no way that someone else on this earth could know what's best for me other than me as it pertains to following my passion. There's no way. It's not a thing. So if your heart is telling you, I feel led to, be go to law school. I'm just throwing this out there. Then you do that. You do that. And all that background noise, you have to really try and surround yourself around positive things, positive people, because I understand your parents, like their voice becomes your subconscious voice. Where any single, down moment you have, it's like, what did I do? Why did I do this? They were right. They were right. They were right. I couldn't do this. Maybe I should have listened to my parents. It would have been easier. It would have been this. It would have been that. And then what? Let's say right now you did actually just do exactly what it is that your mom, wants you to do, your family wants you to do. Then you always wonder, what if? What if I would have just done what I wanted to do? What if that? What if you don't want to end up the person that hates what they do. Maybe you might make a lot of money, but you're not happy. Then what? You wasted so much time. And it's only until we get older that we say, I wish that I had the courage to just like not worry about what people were saying, not, do this, pursue this career because my parents told me to when I was in my 20s. Now I'm like, 40 or 50 and I feel like my whole life has gone by. You don't want to be that person. The worst thing in life we could ever do is regret something. And especially as it pertains to our passion. Okay, let's see. I'm scrolling all the way down because I want to see what's at the bottom. Would you leave your stable but toxic job for a new job that can open doors for you but don't have stable hours? Oh my gosh, that is such a good question. I'm going to say sound advice would be, if you're really, 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 really that miserable, then maybe. But if the hours are unstable, would you rather be like, I hate to say this, not that you're selling yourself out for money, but it's like, babe, you have to live life. And the worst thing to do is, maybe, your job sucks and you hate it there, but you are getting stable pay. If you leave and you maybe like this job better and your hours aren't stable, maybe you will be happier. Maybe you'll have a lot more peace, but now you're financially unstable. So your dilemma seems to be financial instability or financial stability and being miserable. That seems to be, you have to pick your poison. And like, I don't even know genuinely what I would do. I think I could definitely be the type of person where I'm just like, listen, I'm out. Take it. Because money, as much as I do enjoy money, as much as the next person, it doesn't motivate me to do things that I don't want to do. It's not happening. Like I am very stubborn in that way. I'm not doing it. So if you are okay with that, then okay. But I don't know, because that's tough. It sounds all great. Like, quit your job, be happy. And then, a month into it and you're like, girl, I literally can't even afford like to eat. And it's like, now you're thinking like, maybe I should have just suffered through it a little bit longer. I think the logical thing to say would be to try and find something that is more stable, than like just quitting because there's no point. That job opportunity is practically it's non-existent if it's not going to replace your current job and your financial situation, if that makes sense. Hold on, because I'm in the mix of changing a job right now. Wow. For me to tune into this live period, I'm like that too. I'm out. Yeah. I'm like, that's one thing about me. I do not play when it comes to stuff like that. I'm just like, I'm not going to be disrespected. But at the same time, like, you really have to understand, like, it really sounds like a great idea. But like, if you don't, like, for me, when I quit my job, when I was working before, I did have my parents' support in quitting too. If you don't have that to fall back on, then I would not suggest it, because it sounds great and you'll have your freedom, but you will be very miserable when you turn around and you have no sort of finances at all. Okay. Thanks, Kanika. What to do when you feel like you're on the journey alone? 25, single, and live alone. Friends, never want to hang in person, ready to go into a bubble. Well, that's weird. I mean, I don't know what the reason is for your friends not wanting to hang out. I don't know if it's because of, the current social climate or health climate of the universe. But I think that there are a million ways. I would even start to make friends on Instagram. Yeah, that's what I said. I have an Instagram friend that I just had dinner with. We met on Instagram. I've been following her for years, and we went to dinner together, and it was everything that I thought it would be. She's great. She's amazing. And we met on Instagram like years ago. So try and find a community. I mean, Instagram is my way of contacting people. I don't really know how to use I don't even have a Facebook. Facebook is a different animal for me. I think Facebook is just, I don't really have the best opinion about Facebook. I'm going to be genuinely honest with you. I personally think Facebook is a mess and it's a disaster. But I would start, looking on Instagram for girls that are like-minded and DMing them and talking to them and having that, support. There are a ton of forums, groups, and things like that you could be a part of. There's blogs that you can read, and maybe whoever comments, you can start chatting with them. There are a million ways, and I know it's okay, those are online friends, but if that even just helps you mentally escape, I think that's worth it, because your real friends are not even wanting to hang out in real life, and you live alone already, and you don't, and it sucks because it's you want your friends to be on the same page as you. But my number one advice and tip to you is do not force them to be where you are. Don't. If they want to decline your invitation, if you want to go out, hey, let's go out tonight, and they don't want to go, okay, no problem. So when you finally find a group of friends that do want to hang out, then I don't want to hear a sound. Because when I reached out to you guys a million times extending an invitation, the answer was always no. And again, if this is within reason, I'm saying, then it's I don't want to hear a sound when I find a new group of friends, because that's clearly what they're saying. They're saying, find a new group of friends. That's how that's translating to me, because whatever their reason is, I don't know what their reason is, but why can't you go outside of your house and actually get the answer too before you make a decision like this? Why? Because it could be financial. And it's embarrassing to talk about finances, because it's not always easy saying to your friends, I have no money. I mean, I have friends, the same friends, for years and years and years. So if it were us, we're fine with saying that. I don't know how you guys are, in your friendship dynamic, but it could be a million different things. It could be genuinely being scared of stepping outside of their house. You never know. But if you know that it's just BS, then you have to just start finding new friends, DMing people on Instagram. And how do you do it? Sometimes it's not easy, to DM people on Instagram. It's very scary. So what do? You start engaging with their content, commenting under their photo. Oh my gosh, love this outfit. Follow them, respond to their story. And I'm not talking about people with a ton of followers. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you can't, but just people that you can tell are, have a small following that you can actually get in touch with and reach and form some sort of relationship, with them. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Oh my gosh, guys. Time elapses so fast. We are already 58 minutes into this live. Oh my goodness. We have 3 minutes left, guys. How to deal with constant gossiping, negative family members when you're trying to elevate and become a positive oh gosh, okay. Okay, well, one, do you live with family where they're constantly if you have to walk around your house with headphones on all day long, then by all means do that. Drown out the noise. Drown it out, drown it out, drown it out. That's my number one tip, okay? Because you have to get yourself in a mentally healthy place, an emotionally healthy place, so that you're not subject to, your family members of being emotional terrorists and bullying you and making you feel horrible about your situation, even if you have the money to pay for therapy, so you can just have someone to talk to if you feel like you can't talk to your friends. Or sometimes we feel like we are burdening our friends and we don't want to, dump on them or whatever. That's understandable too. I would I think talking and getting things out and processing things externally is very healthy. If there's one thing my close friends know about me, I love speaking on the phone, and I very much love talking about how it is that I feel. I think you need to definitely have a so you're not just inputting only, and you're not just like taking in all the negativity from your family, and you're like, you have nowhere to like output it and, you know, channel it into something else, whether that's speaking about your feelings, whether that's engaging in, you know, some sort of activity. And when it comes to how to elevate and becoming a positive person, I think that just boils down to just doing it. I think we all look for these like magical sort of ways of like, oh my gosh, like it's like there is no magic pill. I really wish that there was. You're going to hear all these things, the seeds will be planted, and you're going to fail a million times until you just fail better and differently every time. And I say this all the time on my podcast. Like, for instance, if you used to binge eat all the time, like you're not going to binge as much anymore, because you're going to, you know, you're like, dang, like I don't want to undo all my progress, and like I really want to overcome this. I hope that makes sense, that analogy. But if they're constantly gossiping and being negative, if there's like a way you can spend as little time at home as possible, maybe there's like, again, like the best thing is getting out of your house, going for a drive, going for a cafe, going to the cafe. Some people have the luxury of working from home. If you don't work from home, then you're going to be at work all day anyway. As soon as you come home, headphones in the ear. It doesn't have to be this obvious thing like, I can't hear you. No, it's you're incognito about it so that they're not feeling like they're being, you know, pushed and provoked, and you just stay in your own headspace. You have to be strong and stay in your own headspace, because if you live with them, realistically, the only other answer would be move out. Who could just move out like that? Because if you could have, I'm sure you would have done that already. So you have to just be very mentally strong and get in your own headspace. I also like to watch a lot of movies. I don't know if that's something that you guys like to do, but sometimes if I feel like emotionally constipated or something, yes, that's an actual term that I use. Like I will watch like a tear-jerking film so I can like cry, or I'll watch something funny, whatever the case is. Like watch something very drama filled so that you're so engaged and focused on like what's going on in the show that you just forget about your life completely. That helps me genuinely. Okay, Venetian Shadow. Hey, Aisha, do guys excessively compliment you when they want something? How can we build inner strength and not let our guard down when that happens? First of all, I love this question. Okay, so, and thank you also for the donation. So yes, guys do excessively compliment you when they want something. It's called gaslighting. Wow, I've never seen a more beautiful face. You are just really everything. You are really sexy. I don't know if anyone's ever told you that, but wow, look at you. And it's so flattering to our ego that we naturally, it feels like, wow, this person is very impressed by me. I do think I'm quite awesome too, so thank you. And you do let your guard down naturally because you feel so well liked by someone. So you kind of feel like it's conquered already. Like you can gauge this person's emotions. It's not really like that much of a challenge because you don't feel like you have to work to get them to like you because they're too busy expressing to you how much they like you so much. That's the difference. So I think at the end of the day, it boils down to this: action. And not just a month of actions, because in the first month, their actions will usually align if they can go the distance. Their actions will usually align with like their words. They need to go the distance. Because after 30 days, I don't know what it is about 30 days. And guys, it's either 2 weeks or 30 days. After that, they can't keep up the charade anymore. So it's your job to say, listen, this is great for my ego. This sounds great. Even if you have to keep a journal, as extreme as this is, come home, log the end of the night so that when you look back and log everything, you know, this guy seems really awesome, but like, I noticed that he does compliment me a lot. And I kind of do think that's a little weird, but maybe he just likes me. So that way you are logging these activities and you're logging how you feel, because if it feels weird and disingenuous, it's because it is. Like, there's never been a time where I remember I went on a date with this guy and he goes, you know what? There's one thing I know about you. It's that, no matter what comes out of this dynamic, even if you and I don't end up, being together, I think you and I are going to be like the best of friends. Like I can already tell. And I'm like, and I said to him, really? Huh? You concluded that already? And I literally just sat down a nanosecond ago. Sir, you're on the fast track to nowhere because it's not going to happen with me. Okay. This isn't my first rodeo. And that's the thing. It's always that one lesson because we all have to learn where it's like being overly complimented and gaslighted. It's a whole different animal. It's a different animal than like just being ghosted. It's difficult when you get everything you want in the beginning. It's more confusing because those dynamics are usually shorter lived or sometimes even strung so far along. It's so toxic. All you want to do is just like gain control of the dynamic and you can't. You can't. So it's your job to say, okay, after this month period, is this guy's action still aligning? Is he making a lot of jokes with a lot of sexual innuendo? Is he constantly complimenting how wonderful my jeans look, how nice my top fits me? Everything is physical, physical, physical. His true intentions will come out eventually. Listen to the things that he talks about in conversation. If it's never anything of substance and actually getting to know you, it's always, so what do you like to do for fun? Wow. Wow. So like, do you work out a lot? Like it's just everything has something to do with your body. And it's never any in-depth questions. Hey, so like, how did you grow up? Like, what was that like? What school did you attend to? What was your your concentration? If it's not anything of substance for a solid time, then you already have your answer. Okay. And you don't let your guard down. You don't let your guard down until you're in a commitment. That's when you're more stable. When you're in a committed relationship, there's no reason to have your guard up because you have a relationship. Until then, yeah, your guard does need to stay up because you have not conquered this. And the reason why I say this, and I hope this does not come across as toxic, the reason why I think this is very important is because once you let your guard down before this is, obtained, unfortunately, that's when you start to act like you are in the relationship already. And then you make relationship decisions when you're still single. And then you end up screwing yourself, essentially, for lack of a better word. I'm sorry. Okay, let's see. I'm going to answer one more question, guys, because we are over an hour now, and I don't want this live to be too long. I will do more lives if you guys would like. You can let me know in the comment section once this video uploads. Maybe like every other Thursday, I'll do a live. If you guys listen to my podcast also, which you should, quality you can control. I said that I was going to do I will post like maybe on my Instagram, like submissions or something like that, where I want, or like a comment that I find is really like a good topic to talk about. And I will answer that question in like my podcast. So I'll choose like 2 to 3 questions, maybe one from YouTube. Actually, I'll do 2. One from YouTube and one from an Instagram submission that I'll post on my story to participate for my podcast, so I can like answer some of you guys' questions on there too. Otherwise, the best way to reach me is always via Wizio. A lot of you guys DM me, and I really do appreciate it. I do try to go through my DMs every day and answer you guys, but I don't have like the time to read through like the text message screenshots that you guys are sending me from all these other guys. It's just best that in order to get a consult with me one-on-one, that you guys are reaching me only there. It's in the description box of every single video. It's in a highlight on my Instagram story. It's going to be in the description box of this video. All the resources are going to be there. So I just want to reiterate this to you guys because I don't want you guys to feel ignored. And also, if you guys have been following me like for a long time, there are ways to reach me. Like it's not, you know what I mean? DMing me is, I have to say, if you're DMing me to get advice, that's not the place. If you're DMing me just to talk here and there about like, like a product or something like that, or just like, just a cute like banter back and forth, that's okay. If you're DMing me for advice, that is not the best place because it gets drowned out. I have like 10,000 DMs. You know what I mean? Okay, so one more question. Oh, oh, I like this. How to recover from a damaged reputation because of my ex. He constantly says lies about me on social media. So I was in a situation when I was 16 years old where like I dated this like psychopath, and I'm not even kidding. He literally like spread literal actual lies about me. Like there was no validity to anything that he was ever saying. And he basically cyberbullied me for the entire year amongst, I mean, he was getting help from others as well. But I say all that to say this: the best reaction is no reaction. And I know you're like, that doesn't make any sense. If he's cyberbullying you, guess what? That's actually, I believe there are laws against cyberbullying. Why? Because many people have done things that were, what's the word I'm looking for? Many people have made life-changing decisions over situations like this, which is why they take these types of things very serious. If someone is going to be, making your life hell and making you feel like, mentally unwell because they are constantly, but I would actually go as far as getting the authorities involved because, if you feel like your mental health is at stake like that. Otherwise, the best thing to do, change your number, even delete your social media if you have to, deactivate it, and then disappear and come back months and months later. Because guess what? You can't keep talking to someone that's not responding. They're gonna eventually run out of things. Tell your friends, if your friends are giving you the play-by-play, girl, do you know what Peter posted about you today? He literally said that you are, you were the one that cheated on him and that you were a no good liar. Don't make yourself subject to hearing the feedback constantly, because I don't even want to hear it. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear it. It's not going to make my day better, brighter, make me smarter, fitter, nothing. It's not doing anything but making me upset and making me feel like I want to react. So you know what? I'm letting you know as my friend, I will. And if he dares post pictures of you that you sent to him in private, guess what? Illegal. Revenge P is illegal. You get arrested for that. So try your luck if you want to. Don't engage with him. Don't do any of that. If he's threatening to do things that are really, threatening, your mental health, then you will treat it as such, because you do not negotiate with terrorists at all. And clearly that shows what a miserable life he has, that he even has the capacity as a man to sit here and, bully you and carry on these lies about you. He has a very sad life. He hasn't moved on. And we see that he has not moved on. If that's any consolation to you, know that he is miserable. Okay. And what you do is you literally ignore him. He can't keep talking about this forever. If he knows you're not looking, if he knows your friends are not going to be telling you about it, you can't. Disappear, go off the grid, change your number. Okay. So he can't contact you at all. Okay. And let it die down and see what happens. If you disappeared for 3 months straight, you mean to tell me as soon as you reactivate your account, he's going to start again? And maybe he's that psychotic that he would, but that's when you get the authorities involved. That's what I do. Because everyone's big and bad until it gets, law and legal around here. That's what I say. Everyone's big and bad. But when it gets law and legal, because it always does on this side, you're not really so tough anymore, are you? Didn't think so. So that's what I have to say about that. Angels, I love you guys so much. I'm going to get going. I have a very busy weekend coming up. And thank you so much to everybody that has joined me on today. This live will absolutely be saved. And I will be doing a lot more lives because, wow, I love the fact that you guys even showed up to hang out with me today. Like, wow, you really love me? You do? I love you guys so much too. And it feels so good to be back and just have this really warm welcome. Share my video with your friends, whoever you feel like it may help. And also, let me know what you guys think about my storytime video. Like, go comment on my storytime video and let me know what you think about it. If you did not see it already, I hate to say it, but you're missing out, because that video is so funny. It sounds conceited, but I've watched it myself like a million times. And literally, my editor, he literally had full, creative control over editing that video. And he murdered it. Like, it was really, really good. Like, he did such a good job. So shout out to you, Jordan. Oh, he's here. Yeah, shout out to you, Jordan. So yes, I love you guys so much. I am sweating and it's late and I need to eat. Okay, my angels. Do not forget, I love you. God loves you. I'll see you guys in the next live, in the next video. Who knows? No, definitely probably in the next, definitely probably the next video for sure. And also my podcast. I'll talk to you guys on there. Mwah. Good night.